Imagine a city of 200,000 souls, the heart of a global empire, a glittering jewel shimmering with the wealth of Brazil, and the faith of 1,000 churches. In one of the most unbelievable moments in history, that city would be annihilated in a mere 6 minutes by a force equivalent to tens of thousands of atomic bombs. How could an empire so rich and so devout be brought to its knees, not by an invading army or a rogue nation, but by the very ground it stood upon? We will unearth the real story of the Lisbon Earthquake, a story not just of a city's destruction, but of human excellence and courage in the face of an unthinkable tragedy, a moment so powerful it would not only rebuild a capital, but would violently shatter an entire way of thinking and give birth to the modern world. The air was thick with the scent of incense and the quiet hum of prayer. It was All Saints' Day, one of the most sacred dates on the Catholic calendar. The faithful knelt in the golden glow of the city's magnificent churches, confident in their piety and their place at the center of the world. They felt a sense of permanence, a deep-seated belief that they were safe within the divine plan. This moment of serene piety stood as a profound contrast to the chaos about to unfold. At precisely 9:40 a.m., a low rumble began, a sound that came not from the sky, but from the very bowels of the earth itself. As a British merchant named Charles Davy later described, a rushing noise like the sound of heavy carriages, a gentle tremble, escalated into a violent whip-like motion that caused his room to rule. Within moments, the structures that had defined Lisbon's greatness became its greatest death traps. The city was in the grip of one of the most powerful earthquakes in recorded history, with modern seismologists estimating its magnitude between a staggering 8.5 and 9.0. Eyewitness, Sister Catherine "Kitty" Witham, a British nun living in the city, recalled seeing her convent's walls a shaking and a falling down as she ran, "with Jesus in my mouth." She saw the impossible. Palaces, libraries, and new marvels, like the city's opulent opera house, open for only 7 months, were reduced to rubble. In an instant, the grand stone churches, whose high arches and heavy roofs were meant to inspire awe, became tombs. Unable to withstand the earth's violent motion, their vaulted ceilings and massive bell towers came crashing down on the thousands gathered for All Saints' Day Mass, extinguishing entire congregations. The Carmo convent, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture, saw its roof collapse, burying the faithful in a tomb of stone and faith. Throughout the city, massive fissures, some reportedly 5 meters wide, tore open squares and streets, swallowing people whole and adding to the horrifying disarray. When the ground finally stopped its violent heaving, a horrifying silence fell, punctuated only by the cries of the dying and the thick, suffocating dust of pulverized stone that choked the air. It was a moment of false relief that quickly gave way to a second terror. Survivors scrambled through the ruins, desperate for open space. Many fled to the harbor, believing the open docks offered safety. There, they witnessed a surreal event. The water of the Tagus estuary pulled back with astonishing speed, revealing a muddy seafloor. For a few morbid minutes, people ventured out onto this exposed land. But here's what historians got wrong. Many believed this retreat of the sea was a sign of mercy, a chance to scavenge. What they didn't know was that they were walking into the jaws of a second, even more terrifying monster. About 40 minutes after the initial shock, the sea returned. A colossal tsunami, with waves reaching up to 20 feet high, surged up the river. The wave was relentless, engulfing the harbor and the entire downtown. The brand-new marble quay, a testament to Lisbon's commercial might, vanished beneath the waves along with every person on it. The water rushed through the skeletal remains of the lower city, drowning those trapped in the rubble and pulling countless others out to sea. The sheer power of this event was felt thousands of kilometers away. The tsunami traveled across the Atlantic, reaching as far as Martinique and Barbados, a testament to the unprecedented scale of the disaster. Wait until you see what happens next. And then came the third angel of destruction, fire. The thousands of candles lit for All Saints' Day had been knocked over in the tremors, sparking small blazes in churches and homes. Fanned by the wind and fed by timber-framed buildings, these blazes quickly merged into a colossal inferno. For 5 agonizing days, a pillar of fire consumed what the earthquake and tsunami had spared. Lisbon, the Golden City, was now a smoldering, apocalyptic pyre. The chaos and fear were so profound that even those trapped in the rubble could not be saved. Sister Kitty Witham recounted a particularly terrible story of a wealthy man trapped in the ruins who offered 100 gold coins for a ladder, but everybody was so desirous to save their own lives, none darest venture, so the poor soul was killed. When the last fires were extinguished, the scale of the devastation was almost incomprehensible. Out of a population of 200,000, estimates of the dead range from 30,000 to as high as 100,000. In this landscape of ruin and despair, 2 men reacted in starkly different ways. King Joseph Reist, who survived the disaster because he was outside the city, was so traumatized that he developed a severe, lifelong claustrophobia. He would live the rest of his reign in a tent. He became the living embodiment of the paralysis and despair that had seized the nation's old order. But stepping out of this paralysis was the king's prime minister, the Marquis of Pombal, a man of ruthless efficiency and Enlightenment ideals. His response was immediate and pragmatic. When asked what to do, he famously declared, "Bury the dead and heal the living." It was a statement that signaled a radical break from the past, a pivot from divine pleading to human action. Under his command, the army was mobilized to stop looting. Makeshift hospitals were set up, and in a move that defied the church, thousands of bodies were loaded onto barges and buried at sea. But the most profound destruction was not physical, but intellectual. The earthquake, striking a deeply Catholic city on a holy day and leveling its churches while, as many noted with bitter irony, largely sparing the red light district, ignited a theological and philosophical crisis across Europe. For centuries, such disasters were seen as divine punishment for sin. Preachers took to the ruined streets, proclaiming it was God's wrath. This evidence has never been shown before. The earthquake posed a horrifying question. How could a benevolent God permit such a random, horrific slaughter of the faithful on his holy day? This became a central philosophical war for the soul of Europe. The Jesuit Gabriel Malagrida became the symbolic face of the old world of religious fatalism, arguing the earthquake was solely our intolerable sins. This stood in direct opposition to the burgeoning Enlightenment, championed by Voltaire, who relentlessly attacked the notion of a rational, benevolent, divine plan. From the rubble, the Marquis of Pombal began to build the future. His plan for rebuilding Lisbon was revolutionary. He rejected calls to simply restore the old city. Instead, he saw a clean slate, an opportunity to create a new urban model. He oversaw the birth of earthquake-resistant engineering, famously ordering the construction of architectural models and having troops march around them to simulate tremors. The result was the Pombaline cage, a flexible wooden lattice built inside masonry walls that allowed a building to sway with a tremor. This internal skeleton was a revolutionary departure from traditional stone construction. The new downtown, the Baixa Pombalina, featured some of the world's first seismically protected buildings, and this radical approach to urban planning became a model for cities around the world. Pombal's quest for understanding went even deeper. In a move that marks the birth of modern seismology, he drafted a detailed questionnaire and sent it to every parish in the country. The questions were precise and empirical. When did the earthquake begin? How long did it last? In which direction did the ground shake? How did animals behave? The focus had shifted definitively from asking why God would do this to asking how the earth worked. This final detail will change everything. The 6 minutes that destroyed an empire also, in many ways, helped build ours. The disaster revealed the terrifying power of the planet we inhabit, but it also revealed the incredible resilience of the human spirit. Out of the dust of a fallen city rose a new one, stronger and more intelligently designed than before. The ruins of the Carmo convent stand to this day as a striking and poignant memorial, preserved as a reminder of the past, even as the new city flourished around it. The 1755 Lisbon earthquake is a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest leaps forward are born from our darkest days. For those who wish to delve deeper into this event, consider visiting the Quake, Lisbon Earthquake Center to experience the simulated quake and its aftermath, or visit the ruins of the Convento do Carmo to stand beneath the open arches where the faithful once gathered. The book, This Gulf of Fire. The Great Lisbon Earthquake by Mark Milewski also provides a comprehensive and gripping account of this pivotal moment in history. If you found this journey into a moment that changed the world insightful, let us know in the comments what historical event you believe deserves a closer look. And please, subscribe for more stories that shaped our history.